All right, wrestling fans, that's right. This is Brutus, the Barber Beefcake, and you're actually listening to the WNS podcast.
You're listening to the official Wrestling News Source podcast. For all of your information, go to WrestlingNewsSource.com or find us on Facebook by searching WrestlingNewsSource.com or WNS Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Stitcher, and iTunes by searching Wrestling News Source Podcast or WNS Podcast. Now, being broadcast in over 30 different countries, here are your hosts, Daniel Herron, Tyler Abear, and Doug.
That's right. What's up, everyone? I am Daniel Herron.
I'm Doug.
Ryan.
And we welcome you to episode 138 of the official podcast for WrestlingNewsSource.com. For all of your information, go to WrestlingNewsSource.com. Check us out on Facebook, WrestlingNewsSource.com. You can find us on Facebook, WNS Podcast, on YouTube, WNS Video, and on iTunes, Wrestling News Source Podcast.
Yeah, Ryan, what are we at on Twitter?
You can contact us on Twitter at, what's the name?
WNS Podcast.
Hey.
And for the main site WN Source. Totally put you on the spot. I'm sorry. I just thought it would be hilarious. So go and follow and like and rate and review and subscribe. All those things, please.
And also on Stitcher. Searching Wrestling News Source Podcast. Welcome to the show. Got a lot to talk about. Unfortunately, I mean, Tyler will not be joining us this week, so we got Ryan to step in.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? I'm back.
We are certainly happy to have you.
You're cutting off my... Trying to respond accordingly. I boo Tyler's absence and I cheer Ryan's presence.
There you go.
You're cutting me off. Go ahead, continue.
So welcome to Ryan. We appreciate you stepping in.
Glad to be back.
Our,
Taking the hot tag.
yeah, there you go. Unofficial, official hot tag.
There you go.
So we do appreciate it. Going to be a good show. Going to be talking about Raw. Going to be talking about Total Divas, of course. You know, Doug's specialty there.
Yep.
We're also going to be interviewing Brutus the Barber Beefcake. So it's definitely one you want to stick around and listen to. And we certainly do appreciate everyone who's listening. Don't forget to subscribe to our show, leave us a comment, and let us know how we're doing. We certainly do.
Talking about the VMAs. We're going to be talking about.
Oh God, no, that was. I didn't watch the whole
thing. I live
thing.
for the applause, applause. I live for the applause, live for the. Come on, guys, join in.
I'm good. Thank you for the offer, but I'm good where I'm at.
I'll be hating on Gaga, man.
I'll be hating on Miley. I didn't get to watch the whole show. I saw the Miley Cyrus performance. I saw the Justin Timberlake performance.
I felt like I had to. I felt like I'm getting to that age where I'm losing touch with like pop culture, and I'm only like interested in like what I'm interested in. So I like made myself watch it just so I could like feel like I would get any pop culture references.
Did you get any?
Yeah, I think I watched most of the show. I ended up falling asleep in the middle, but I thought Gaga was pretty awesome. See, people are hating on Miley, but like, I don't think it wasn't that fucking weird. The song kind of.
The song.
Oh, nice.
The song is.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
The song sucks, but I mean, like, I didn't think it just. She just had teddy bears and she twerked or whatever.
She fingered attempted. Robin Thicke Crouch with a finger foam.
Yeah, foam finger, and then she did it to herself as well, and she can't keep her tongue out of her mouth apparently. So it was just.
It's the drugs.
It's just cocaine's a hell of a drug. So, it was just I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh, this is supposed to be a role model for someone, and she's walking around.
Now, isn't she like Hannah Montana? Or I'm thinking somebody else.
Yeah,
that is her.
Or Miley Cyrus was Hannah Montana.
Okay,
so
she got a new gimmick.
Yeah,
I heard
that not JR, but Jerry came out and made like a little reference on Raw about.
They made like two, and then JBL stepped with the most fucked up one about Rihanna and Chris Brown, and there was like 30 seconds of silence because nobody wanted to touch it.
It was good.
Did you see the NSYNC thing? Because it looked like I don't know their names, but one of them was definitely going into business for himself. He was like, "I'm about to get some out of this fucking performance. Like people are going to talk to me." It was like not the guy who fucked up all the dances on the end, but like the next guy to him. If I was gonna guess, I would say JC, but I don't know how correct that would be.
Okay.
And he like sung like when everyone else stopped singing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. That dude went into business for himself.
Remember me, everyone. Remember me.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm still here.
Y'all forgot. I like how I was like, we're gonna talk about the VMAs. You guys were like, no, the fuck we aren't. And now we're talking about the VMAs.
Yeah. Well, I felt like Justin Timberlake showed how to put on a show. because the girls weren't running around in bikinis, and the guys weren't like booty grinding or anything, like
Well, I mean, like, I don't
he put on a good show.
I don't think there's necessarily a problem with like grinding and booty shaking.
Yeah.
That's like,
That's nightclubs nowadays.
yeah, I mean, she just wasn't very good at it.
Yeah.
It's not like, I don't think it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I thought Gaga was pretty awesome. I thought Katy Perry, I like all the boxing stuff. She had the belt and stuff.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
I didn't get to see all that.
I think she was the last person.
I just watched the 2 performances, Miley and Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, Justin was fine too.
He tore it down.
I didn't like Kanye. Well, then I'm not a big Kanye fan. So.
I like Kanye, but the performance was weird. It was just like a blacked out with a screen behind him. Yeah.
Interesting.
2 Chainz? I don't like him either.
Yeah. I was talking to Tyler about that earlier. It's like, if you have to say your name 2 or 3 times in a song, you're probably not that good. So it's just.
We know what his real name was. Like before that, right? It was Titty Baby.
Oh my God.
Yeah, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. That's what they named him.
I just can't imagine that being on the radio. So that Coming up next, we got the latest from Titty Baby. Stick around.
Should do that. What was the A$AP Rocky dude seemed like he didn't want to who did he present with?
Oh, the guy who came out in the NBA. I can't think of his name, but it was him. The guy who came out in the NBA.
Oh yeah. Okay. When they introduced Macklemore, look, I don't think Macklemore is awesome or whatever, but I think it's cool that that he put that song out, and it obviously wasn't premeditated for the times because he had the record out for it to be ready when all the shit was relevant.
Yeah.
But whatever the dude, I guess he's the NBA guy, Ron said, but he was introducing Macklemore and saying, it's cool that he stands up for it, and the A$AP Rocky dude seemed like he didn't want to touch it. He was like, yeah, it's cool that he stands up for what he believes.
Homosexuality.
Yeah. I don't know. Everyone's on that A$AP Rocky dude's jock. I haven't heard him yet, but
sucks.
Really?
Yeah. I like the song that he did with I guess the collaboration. I think it's called "Fucking Problems" with Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and all of them, which is a good song. But I just never been a big fan of it.
I like what I heard of Kendrick Lamar, but
I like him. But other than that,
my sister texted me saying Macklemore's white.
Yeah.
So she was.
Why you gotta bring race?
She was just surprised whenever she saw him because she heard the songs and was like, I guess she thought he was a black guy. So she was shocked at it.
I don't think he sucks. It's just not my thing. But I don't know. What else?
It's whatevs. Anyway, so that was the VMAs. There you go. Anything else from it?
No, I just like that we talked about it after you said we weren't.
I only got to see the 2 segments, so I couldn't offer too much input on it. So I heard Daft Punk was there. That's pretty cool.
They were.
Lose yourself to dance.
I think they came out with Pharrell and whoever that dude was that played guitar for.
Daft Punk.
I know
well, he did, but he played guitar for somebody before.
Yeah,
like Michael Jackson, a lot of guys.
Yeah, he's a
Prince or Michael Jackson, something like that.
All those bands. He's got a lot of number ones that has in his track record. Good Lord, I can't talk. So there you go. But in other topics, we did have wrestling that happened this week. Doug and I got to go to our local wrestling show, Hurricane Pro. Did you have fun? Did you enjoy yourself?
Yeah, I had an okay time.
Yeah? Just an okay?
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay. Cool. New venue.
Yeah, I think the venue's pretty cool.
It's a little more intimate than the Montaigne Center.
Yeah, they don't need all that space.
Yeah. And it makes it louder for the fans.
Yeah, for sure.
Tons of kids having lots of fun. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, there were a lot of kids.
Yeah. So, but we're going to go ahead and dive on into what happened on Raw. We start the show with Triple H coming out and, basically saying what he did to Daniel Bryan was business originally, but because of what happened with him talking to Stephanie McMahon, the attack on him last week was personal. So he came and brought Randy Orton out and gave him an Escalade. So saying, hey, thanks for going for that brass ring and running with the ball and being the face of the company. So then Daniel Bryan came out to interrupt and thank the fans, thank Cena for believing in him. And, Triple H came out and said, hey, you're going to run a gauntlet match against the Shield. So
believe in the Shield.
Boy! Shield. So I thought it was a pretty strong start for Raw. What about you, Doug?
Well, I think it's a real hit or miss for me. All the stuff involving like Triple H just being like a giant dick, I like buy into.
Yeah.
What I don't think works is when they have Daniel Bryan like out there like calling Orton the pretty boy and like telling Stephanie she's a bitch and stuff like that. Like, I don't think it's believable coming from Bryan. I don't think it's the best use of Bryan, and it's just not who he is. Like, it just feels real false coming from it. It doesn't feel like a genuine thing because I don't really believe that's something he would actually say. As far as like, say the ending segment of last week where it was just like Bryan just like scraping and clawing, like giving it all, he just being like a true underdog, just fighting, you know, I buy like wholeheartedly into that. I believe that like perfectly fine. Yeah. And I think it's like a good use of him because I think, you know, that's fine. I don't buy into all the other stuff. It's like they're doing this weird angle where so much of what has been said about Triple H and the McMahons is kind of put on Front Street, and they put it in the ring and they put it out at an angle, and they're saying, okay, the angle is we like these kind of guys, and Bryan's not one of those kind of guys, which is something that had been said about him in his career for a long time. And the angle is that he's going to break through to be the man. But it's like this weird like metatextual thing where it's like they're saying they're putting him over to be the man, but in the same mold as everyone else. They're saying do all these things like spray paint cars like everybody else does and call people bitches like everybody else does. So it's this weird fucked up like metatextual thing where it's like, okay, you can be the man now, but you have to be the man exactly how we let everybody else be the man. Yeah. And what better to break the mold of what your top guy is? What better way to break, or what better time to break the mold of what your top person could be than in a storyline where you're saying you're breaking the mold of what a top face can be? Like, let him be him. Let Bryan be Bryan. Let Bryan talk like Bryan. Let Bryan do things that Bryan excels at, and just accentuate the positives of Bryan. Don't make Bryan be a second-rate Stone Cold. Don't make Bryan be a second-rate whoever else.
Make him the first Daniel Bryan.
Right. So in this weird way where they're saying, okay, we're letting this guy become the new guard, but they're just making him become that, like how they let everyone else be that guy. Let him be his own man. And there's no better time to break the mold than in a storyline about breaking the mold. Like,
stick to the formula, Daniel Bryan. We'll get you there.
And you can tell, I think he puts his spin on it, and he does it the best way he can. He puts his best twist on it, but it rings so false for me. And you can tell it's just not him. Just let him be him. Yeah. Like, he doesn't have to be all that other shit.
Look at Orton. He's so pretty.
When Bryan's insulting dudes, it just sounds so fake. It's like, that's not how Bryan would talk, it feels like, you know? That's just me. I don't know. I mean, my opinion often, like, differentiates from, like, the rest of the people watching, and, you know, so everyone else may be loving it for all.
You see what people don't see.
I'm not trying to make it like that. I'm not like being like, oh, well, I'm smarter than ever. I'm just saying, like, you know, that's just how I feel. Like, I'm sure a lot of people are fine with it.
Well, most of the time, I find myself, you know, I'll come in with my opinion. I'll hear what you have to say. I'll see it from your perspective, and I'm like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. So,
well, I don't mind. Well, see, I don't mind like people having different opinions, but I try my best to articulate how I feel. And if you articulate how you feel and just saying, no, you're wrong, then I think it's fine for everybody to feel how they feel.
No, you're wrong.
You know, fuck you.
How about you, Ryan? What are your thoughts on Daniel Bryan and the attitude that he showed this past
I kind of agree with what Doug was saying. I mean, it didn't seem like it was him, you know, shooting that promo like that.
That's them backstage going, hey, look, we've done this before.
Right.
All right. This is how you get there.
Yeah. Well, I think it's funny, like, you know, looking on watching the segment and also looking on Twitter, not Twitter, but on Facebook, and everybody's like, if you don't do something to that car in the next 5 minutes, it's going to make me explode. I'm ready for somebody to drop kick this, or I'm ready for the spray paint.
It lasted over an hour.
Yeah. Like, I think that vehicle lasted the longest than any damage that happened to any vehicle, you know, Raw or whatever, but.
Yeah, it's the stereotypical, if we present you a car, something's going to happen to it. Yeah. So
that's twice for Randy.
If a gun is introduced in the first act, it's got to be like used by the fourth or third, whatever the fucking rule is.
Yep. So
like it's hard. I find it really hard to bitch too loud and too long about this just because they are really putting the guy fucking over.
Yeah.
But it would work so much better if they just let him be himself and let him be like a new thing, you know?
Yeah.
The storyline's about having a new thing. Just let him be a new thing.
do you think that they're sort of doing this as sort of like the safeguard way, and then like when he gets to that point where they're okay, they're going to be like, all right, now this is yours. You can do your thing now that you're at this point in time.
No, because I think it minimizes like whatever really would be him to have him like trudge through the shit to get there. You know, it's like make him awesome now. Like, he doesn't even have to talk all that much. They're just out there. See, I buy into the like at the end where Triple H and the Shield is in the ring and they're just fucking dogballing the dude. I buy into that so hard. I was like, that's fucking great. I buy Triple H as a fucking asshole holding people down. Insert your own joke there. You know, like I buy into that shit. I was like, fucking works for me. That's fucking perfect. No problem. But like, they want him to
be a hero.
They want him to be that fucking like Sheamus, that John Cena top face guy where he's got to quip with people and like make little fucking pokes at guys and stuff. Like that's not who he is. It's just not.
Burst through the curtain, put on an excellent wrestling match, go through the curtain.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he can't ever talk. I'm just saying like that's not how he would talk. Yeah. I know that's not how he would talk because I've seen him talk. And it comes off really unnatural because it is kind of unnatural.
Yeah. This is what happens when you're given writers saying, here's what you're thinking, buddy. We know what you're gonna say.
It's just me. I don't know. I don't want to like filibuster.
All right. Well, there you go. So that's how we kicked off Raw. The first matchup we got to see Cody Rhodes going up against Fandango. And this match ended up, being really short because Miz came out dancing and
in Fandango gear.
Yeah, in Fandango gear with Rosa Mendez, which it was nice to see her. Always nice to see her. But they came out dancing, and Damian Sandow made the comment of, "Oh, look, he's renewed his idiot license for another year." So, but yeah, it cost Fandango the victory as Cody Rhodes rolled him up, and then they all got in the ring and started brawling. They were being brawling buddies, and lo and behold, Teddy Long. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Brad Maddox came out and said,
"Hold on there, player."
Yeah, we're gonna have a tag match. So that happened, and Cody Rhodes and Miz get the victory anyways, defeating Fandango and Damian Sandow.
Which Fandango like leaves like the ring while leaves Sandow inside the ring.
Yeah, kind of left Sandow on his own there. But what are you guys' thoughts on this Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow feud continuing, and now they're throwing in Miz and Fandango together?
That's not bad. I mean, I like Cody Rhodes and Sandow together. I mean, they always put on good matches. I don't know how I feel about the Miz and Fandango because I don't know. The Miz lately kind of been disappointed me. Yeah, I don't know if he's a face or heel or
supposed to be face, but he came out and just I don't know.
Heelish.
How about you, Doug?
I mean, it was fine. I don't like. It's a pet peeve of mine when the baby faces have the numbers and they still cheat to win. Even if it's like a comeuppance thing, if it's like if you have the advantage, then like be a man, Hogan. Just win the fucking match. You got to cheat. Come on. Be a man, Hogan is this new thing. It's not a new thing. It was everyone knows the fucking song, but I'm trying to make it happen when people are being bitches. Like just start telling people to be a man, Hogan.
Right on.
All right. So next up, we got to see
post on Abear's wall for not being here tonight. I want all the listeners, if you're friends with Abear, go post on his wall, be a man, Hogan. I want to see like 100 fucking be a man Hogans on Abear's wall.
There you go. So next up, we got to see the story of CM Punk and Paul Heyman continue with CM Punk going up against Curtis Axel, and the fans voted that if Punk was victorious, Heyman would have to get in the ring with Punk, and that of course did happen with the help of referees and security all of a sudden now enforcing rules. So it was kind of interesting to see, and I felt the match was okay. These two are trying to put on a show, and I don't know, it's just something to me it feels like there's something just missing from Curtis Axel. Yeah. It's like, you put him with Paul Heyman.
Charisma.
Yeah, I guess if that's it.
I mean, he's absolutely fine in the ring. I don't think he's great or anything. He's perfectly fine. He has like no fucking charisma.
Yeah, it's like I was just looking at him during the match, and I'm just like, it's just not there. I don't know. But Punk was victorious and had to get in the ring with or Heyman had to get in the ring with Punk, and Axel tried to attack and handcuffed him and hit him with a chair and then brought in the kendo sticks, and then it got a little uncomfortable with Heyman, screaming, "I loved you!" Bam! "I murdered for you!" Bam! "I fathered you!" And that was kind of odd, but but the whelps that he left on Punk's
sick.
back, just
I think he had like a baseball size like lump on his back. Man,
yeah,
that was fucking sick.
And it's the small things that help the story along with Punk before he got the first hit from the kendo stick, looking up at Heyman and saying, "You better make this count, you son of a bitch." So I thought I don't know how I feel about the Heyman and Punk feud anymore. Like, I know we're still waiting for that moment when Punk finally gets his hands on Paul Heyman and just like, tears him up or whatever. But it's like, now it's getting kind of a little uncomfortable. But I don't know. Doug, what do you think?
Uncomfortable in what sense?
I don't know. It was just like he sort of had that father's remorse, like after he hit him, because like he walked over, to the ring and had his hands over his eyes, like, "I can't believe I just did that." Oh, it was like he was trying to be the father, like saying, "This is gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you." But I don't know. It was just, I don't know. And the "I fathered you" line kind of threw me off a little bit.
Maybe came off too much.
I think they're trying to play like subtly on the fact that what everyone knows about Punk's like family life, and kind of emphasize that role as like Heyman being a father figure, which obviously they've kind of outright said that.
Yeah.
But I think like Heyman does a fine job of like doing the best he can to keep this interesting. I just think people would feel a lot better about it if it wasn't Axel. I mean, like,
yeah.
I understand the point of like Punk working with a different guy and trying to put like a kid over or whatever. I mean, not a kid; he's in his 30s, but I mean,
Yeah, but still,
yeah. I mean, like putting the dude over or something, but it just not working for me. I think it would come off a lot better if it was like a different dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think Axel, even the backstage segment where he's like, "You believe in me, Paul, right?" And he's just like, "Ugh, I have to say this.
Yeah.
With my life, I believe in you." It's just like,
well, that little stuff like that, I think, like makes it like tolerable. I think like, that's like Heyman put on an A+ performance in something that has no right to be an A+. You know what I mean? Like,
just
that's just me. I don't know.
But how about you, Ryan?
I don't know. I feel about the same way. I'm trying to buy into I call him Alex Riley, Axel, but it just not
even
believable.
Curtis Axel can go A-Rod.
Yeah, it's almost hard to believe his whole gimmick, man. I mean, when like that first week, I liked it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then it's like it just been
It hasn't progressed.
Yeah.
It hasn't evolved any. So maybe it is the charisma. I just don't know. But
I like that they're trying to do something with
They're
someone.
they're trying,
so
they're
hard.
pushing it bad.
God.
I like that they got solidly behind someone different, but it's just not working out.
Yeah.
But he needs like another guy in there, like probably help him out or something. Maybe another like a Paul Heyman tag team, I don't know, duo with him or something. But the single competition is not working.
Well, I think that the idea is right. I mean, like clearly the guy's not that great on the mic, and that's why you put him with someone like Heyman. But it's just still not like as great as Heyman is not like rubbing off. You know.
He's only Paul Heyman. He can only do so much.
You don't have to be a great talker, but you can show some charisma. Like Ryback's not a good speaker, I don't think, but he's got fucking charisma. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a difference, right? Like you have a quiet charisma about you, or I mean, not even quiet, but like a physical charisma about you, even if you can't speak well. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm just blabbing. I don't know.
Who knows?
Does that make any sense? I don't know.
Yeah. But next up, we did get to see Brie Bella going up against Natalya. This was a pretty short match with all the Total Divas stars surrounding the ring. Just a short match, and it was what it was. It was fine. But Brie ended up getting the victory after everything broke down outside the ring. But then AJ came out and delivered what fans are calling, the AJ pipe bomb, where she comes out and says the divas are cheap, interchangeable, expendable, useless women, who aren't fit to lace her Chuck Taylors.
Yeah.
So, this got the world talking. Everyone, all wrestling fans who are watching Raw are certainly buzzing about it. Talking about, man, so much truth and all this. Like, where has the Divas division gone, over the past few years? And I know, Doug, that you had a different take on this segment.
Well, see, if you like Total Divas, she's a fucking heel. I don't think there's any question about that. No, I mean, on the real, though, I mean, like, I think it was a dumb idea to let her cut that promo if you want her to be a heel, because that makes her a babyface to a lot of people. But, I mean, the flip side to that argument is, like, you could just be like, hey, well, you could argue that maybe Caitlyn slept her way into the position she's in, just from, like, going from Punk to Bryan to Kane. She slept her way into relevance. And, like, I don't want to, like, come off like some guy saying a woman can't, like, have sex with whoever she wants to have sex with. Yeah. I'm not, like, saying she's morally wrong. I'm just saying that would be, like, an argument they would make. I don't think that she's so fucking fantastic in the ring that she's, like, light years above anybody else she's talking shit on. I mean, maybe she's on par with Natalya, maybe she's not. I mean, I don't even think Natalya's the best, like, setting the world on fire myself, but I mean, it's just like fans like want to hear that, like, I'm a good wrestler and you're not wrestlers. That anybody pops for that, and I think that's a cheap pop at this point. I think that, like, takes zero effort to get that response. Whenever you say, people are just so hard up to be like, hear the word wrestling, like, adjust to the times, people. It's just where we are. Yeah, but the way that I see it, they're trying to say, oh, you're gaining exposure to the world through this TV show. It's like, what are you showing the world that's supposed to make you? No, they're not showing anything different. They're doing the same thing Bryan said to Cena. They're doing the same thing Punk said to Cena before him. It's no different. They're just doing it with a girl now, and there is no. It's 2 steps away from what everyone else is saying, just because they're saying, well, I'm a wrestler, you're an entertainer. Well, you girls are just on a reality show, and it's the same old bullshit. I think it's trite, to be honest. It's like same fucking thing Bryan and Cena have been talking about. It's just they think it's a fucking easy pop. I mean, and it is, apparently, because people go wild for that shit, which I don't understand. Yeah, and it makes me curious as to, where they're going to go from this. Like, are the Total Divas going to try and gang up on AJ or something like that? It's one of those, it's just, AJ made the comment of, oh, I didn't get here because I look pretty, or, like, referring to bullshit. Eva Marie and JoJo.
My dad, I don't have somebody in the family.
I don't have someone in the family who got me in, like Natalya. So, it's like, is it going to lead to all of them trying to? You think there aren't, like, 50 women out there who can wrestle? You think there aren't, like, 50 women out there that are better than AJ? Yeah. But it's just, it's like these girls are brought in to look pretty, not to wrestle matches. I think that's where the complaint is, and that's what she's a pretty girl too. I mean, that's why she's where she is. But what I'm saying is, she may be like a step up from what the Bellas can do in the ring. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, what kind of matches will they be able to put on? As opposed to, let's bring in a female wrestler instead of let's bring in a sports model or something. It's just, I don't know. Or, I mean, I don't know. I think that they're going to probably end up doing the Natalya thing, which should be fine. I think Trinity's as good as anybody. I think Trinity's cool in the fact that she can do, like, she's pretty athletic. She can do some, like, cool spot. I don't think the psychology's there. She can't link them together, but she can do some cool athletic shit. Then you got Natalya, and then you got whoever else. I mean, it's just how it is. I mean, like, I'm not saying it's right. I mean, Sarah Del Rey is the fucking trainer and not on TV. Yeah, like, killing everyone. Well, like, a place where I could see this going is that the Total Divas try and band together to go up against AJ. So they select one of the Divas to go up against her, say Night of Champions, or even the pay-per-view afterwards. I think it's Battlegrounds or something like that that's coming up next. But anyways, they select someone to go up against AJ. AJ defeats her. So they say, okay, we'll bring in someone you've never seen before, and maybe bring in Paige, because she's supposed to be the anti-diva. Yeah, is what they're saying. And so, say she's victorious, defeats AJ, and all the Divas try and celebrate with her, and she just, like, starts knocking the knocking the hell out of them, saying, I'm not one of y'all. Yeah, I'm the anti-diva.
I think that's fun.
Yeah?
I got no problems with Paige.
Cool. Yay. So there. How about you, Ryan? What are your thoughts on AJ's pipe bomb?
It shocked me. I ain't gonna lie. I popped for her for a little bit, and I was like, oh damn, she's going off. But then like I really didn't. I guess until I watched it again, she did it because it came off as a face.
Yeah.
But oh no, it was good. You know what I'm saying? I think she got the reaction that most people, probably wasn't used to a diva saying, but she said it. I think that's what she was trying to go for. But where they're gonna go with it, you got me. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, you never know because next week could be completely different. It'd be a 5-second match, and it's like.
And it's over.
Yeah,
Don't forget to watch Total Divas.
Yeah.
So
I don't think she came off as a face. I think
some of the things she said.
The things she said are what people want to hear, so they're gonna like cheer. She came off as a face in that respect. Not that they think she's like the good guy.
Sort of like when Punk cut his infamous pipe bomb. He did it as a heel, or his character was heel, but the fans were agreeing with him into what he was saying. So that in turn made him a face.
Yeah.
So. We'll have to see where it goes.
But to be honest with you, I didn't really fucking even like believe or agree or buy into what AJ was saying. I just think it was like stuff that I think people just are like
thought it was real talk.
Yeah.
Real talk, but it was just.
And that's reality. So there you go. The next matchup we got to see Rob Van Dam going up against Alberto Del Rio. I didn't get to catch all of this matchup, but I heard it. It was kind of short.
Yeah.
Not the best. But what were y'all's thoughts?
It was fun. It's totally weird to see Ricardo and like not in a suit and with the RVD shirt on. Just looked weird. I kept looking at him like, you just look fucking weird, bro.
Even him announcing it was kind of weird, like
Rob Van Dam.
Do you like? I find it super weird, but do you think it's because since he's been on TV, we only known him as the Del Rio guy, or do you think it just actually is a weird pairing?
It is a weird pairing. I mean, like. I don't see it with the chemistry with him. Like, you know what I'm saying? He is an announcer. I mean, and RVD is pretty good, but that's why I see like the connection. Like not the connection, but I see like, he have a name, that everybody likes. You know what I'm saying? Rob Van Dam. He's announced that who put Alberto Del Rio name, Alberto, a name that people chant in the crowd, so everybody does to Rob Van Dam. So I guess they like, well, hey, since Rob Van Dam, everybody love the crowd. The crowd loves him. You know what I'm saying? How about we pair you with him? You know what I'm saying? So you get the crowd even more over his name. But it's like everybody who's been knowing Rob Van Dam for years. You know what I'm saying? His name is already over. You don't need somebody to come in and like coach him unless it's Paul Heyman or maybe I can't think of the guy Bill Alfonso. I'm thinking probably wrong from ECW.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like one of those guys who can do it, but not this somebody else manager.
Right.
I don't think it could be like a long-term management deal with
him. Do you
him,
think it's a swerve just like waiting to happen? Do you think?
I definitely see that, yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just, I'm sorry, Alberto, I didn't mean to cause you a match, whatever, and then, turn on at the Night of Champions, something like that.
Yeah, because in the thing where the whole reason Ricardo is there is because he's the personal ring announcer. Like, he's being paid by Alberto Del Rio, not the WWE. So, he's there only for Alberto. So it's like all of a sudden, is Rob supposed to be paying him now to do this, or like what's he doing? He's a hitman for hire, so I don't know. But next up we got to see Ryback in a backstage segment with Josh Matthews, where Matthews asked if he's a bully.
Yeah,
and I didn't get to see this segment, but
it was short, but it was okay. Like I said, he just kind of tossed him around a little bit, grabbed him by the throat, and. Threatened him a little bit,
Not a bully.
Yeah, I'm not a bully.
I'm Ryback and I rule.
Like I was saying earlier, he looked just like somebody from Ace with that vest on, the beanie and everything.
Ryback, 318 pounds from Sin City.
Cavzilla.
So, yeah.
The calves.
Next up, we got to see Randy Orton defeating Christian.
Randy.
Sort of rehash from their 2011 feud. I heard it was a pretty good matchup. What about y'all?
I couldn't tell you because, to be honest, like I saw something on Twitter, some more Chikara ARG shit, and I was like, oh, fuck, let me check out this. And I was like, oh, God. And then I never got a chance to go back and rewatch it. And I couldn't stop like paying attention to the Chikara shit until I knew my boy Brian was going to work. So
what's the latest on Chikara?
Well, it's kind of hard to know exactly what to say because it's like if you say this, then you have to explain this, and you say explain this. But I guess just for you guys who've been keeping up with it through me or whatever, that Icarus posted on the Chikara boards that to go to savechikara.com and like sign up like this online petition or whatever to like you know, whatever, like, because he's been going to the places where they're supposed to have their shows and like getting people to sign a petition, like handing out I Am Chikara shirts and whatever. And then on Twitter, someone asked him about it, and I went in there and I put all my information, I put my name, put my address, put my phone number, put my email, all the shit that they ask you for. And then someone tweeted at him, and he was like, "What are you talking about?" Blah blah. He's like, my Chikara 101 account was hacked over the weekend. Disregard all messages or whatever. And then people are like, "What the fuck?" And then so we go to savechikara.com, and it's like, it says like Condor security, blah blah blah, and it's like Condor like hacked his account to like get all the people who are trying to have Chikara's back personal information. So it's been pretty crazy. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, if you need a place to hide, just let us know.
Fuck you, Condor security. Like I know like a lot of people. I know if you don't follow Chikara, you don't know what the fuck's going on. It's a lot of complex shit, and it's not easy to just tell someone new because explain like
give them a 5-minute.
No, everything that happens ties into something else that's a big long explanation that ties into something else that's a big long explanation. And I know like some even like diehard Chikara fans are really put off by this like alternate reality game and like the uncertainty of what exactly is going on. But I still think it's still the promotion that I'm most excited about that isn't even running shows currently and may not for the foreseeable future. And you know, I don't know. It's just like I don't mind digging in to pay attention to it.
At least they're, you know, being entertaining.
Yeah, yeah. Whenever I like went back to, people were like, "What the fuck?" and I went back to it, and then it had the big Condor security label. It's like it says like your IP address has been whatever and logged like whatever. Like they're like keeping tabs on all the people who want your car to come back. It's pretty cool. I mean, like I think it's rad.
They're going to great lengths for this.
Yeah, it's cool stuff. I mean, so yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened in this match.
All right. So how about you, Ryan?
I like it. You know, I think there's a lot of back and forth. You know, it was pretty good. They told a good story. I just feel bad for Christian, but then again, I wouldn't expect him to win. You know, just to go over like that, clean or whatever. But I'm glad he's still in the picture. You know, they just didn't bury him, put him some type of mid-card job, or
at least he held his own.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. They still make him look good enough to where something can happen in the future. I don't know.
Oh, good. So shortly after the match, as Orton was trying to celebrate in the ring, Daniel Bryan appears on the big screen and reveals that he has spray painted the word "yes" all over Orton's Escalade. You know, he's like, "Hey, I want to show you something. Come over here. Yes, 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 yes," all over the Escalade. And Michael Cole made the corny joke and called it a Yescalade. Just awful. Just such cheese.
That's Michael Cole for you.
Yeah, but you know, it's what it was. But next up, we got to see Titus O'Neil going up against Jack Swagger. So,
the big deal.
Yeah, big deal. Or is it the real deal?
I think it's the big deal.
Okay, I don't.
It might be the real deal, but I think it's the big
real deal.
Yeah,
big and the real
big deal.
The biggest realest deal.
So, so Titus O'Neil ends up defeating Jack Swagger. You know, just sort of a little time filler kind of matchup, but you know, nothing bad from it. And the final match got to see Daniel Bryan going up against The Shield in a gauntlet match. His first matchup was against Seth Rollins, and these guys put on one heck of a show. You know, not really surprising that they were, but you know, I kind of wish that the matches would have started earlier in the night because you know you're looking at your clock and you're like, well, they only have 15. Yeah. They only have 15 minutes, and they're just now getting started with this, so something's going to end up quick. So, but
I actually appreciated that. I think it's always like a foregone conclusion in a lot of people's minds whenever they have like a gauntlet match. They're like, okay, well, he's going to get at least to the third match, and I kind of like that they kind of mixed it up and like, well, he just barely got through the first one, and then they just like kind of dogpiled him. I was like, hey, that's cool. You're not going to appreciate them mixing it up.
And it was good. You know, the matchup against Seth Rollins had some really good spots on it, and you know, it was enjoyable. But the match did get thrown out as the entire Shield decided to beat down on Daniel Bryan, and Triple H had called out the entire roster to the top of the ring entrance to watch, and he said, you know, if any of y'all pass over that line, I'm gonna personally fire you. with a smile on my face. And they had the girl who I still haven't learned her name yet interview Big Show and Miz and Dolph Ziggler, and they were all silent out of fear for being punished by Triple H.
I really thought the Miz was going to say something there for a second. He's like, I got something to say.
Let me think about this for a second. So, but it looked like Big Show was definitely looking to do something, but he was the most hesitant as well. But Randy Orton came out, delivered an RKO to Daniel Bryan with the help from the Shield, and it's interesting to see where the story has taken.
See, I think like the inside, a lot of the stuff, like especially the in segment, really works for me. Where it's just like them, where he's just like a guy who's just like biting and scratching and clawing to get at these dudes are fucking with him. Just like an underdog, he's not gonna fucking give up. I think that's Brian perfectly. I don't like that they paraded the roster out because, okay, look, I can't, like, it's not that I can't, I'm not going to say Miz or Ziggler. I can't buy into Miz as a face because he's fucking, like, half the time he's being a jackass and the other half of the time he's being a dick. Same thing with Ziggler. I don't think Ziggler is a babyface in the fact that he's only a fan favorite. People want to cheer for him. And he's a babyface in the fact that, well, somebody did something bad. Like, that's how you turn babyface in the WWE now. You don't act good. You don't do good things. You don't, like, repent for the fucked up shit you do. You just, like, somebody does something fucked up to you and now you can be cheered. Like, that doesn't make you a babyface.
And
it just,
start
like,
pairing you up against the heels.
Yeah, so people just cheer you because something fucked up happened to you. Dolph Ziggler didn't do anything good to anybody. He's just, like, somebody finally fucked him over, so now he can be a good guy. So I'm not going to say that I can get behind these guys. I can't take these guys seriously as baby faces. But Big Show has the excuse of like he had the ironclad contract. What the fuck happened to that? Yeah. Like, he should be able to. And the fans pretty much fucking indicted him for being a bitch. They were like, Big Show, we want you to go help that fucking kid.
The entire roster standing on there, they want the Big Show to go out and make this.
Well, that's Triple H was like bucking in his face and shit, like, do something, bitch. And then Big Show was just like. And
watch
like, look, I'm not going to call anybody out. Like, I'm no fucking hero. Like, I'm not going to say I go out of my way to, like, help people all the time, but I'm not a fucking hero. I'm not a fucking superhero. I'm not a fucking, like, baby face. I'm just a dude trying to get through my life, you know? But I also don't, like, go through my life kicking people while they're down and trying to take advantage of people. I'm just a dude. But, like, that's why you're a fucking baby. If you're going to make someone a fucking babyface, make them a fucking baby. I can't buy you as a fucking babyface if you were going to stand there and be like, oh, I'm gonna. No, bitch, you're acting like a bitch. You're acting like a pussy. Like, how am I going to buy into you as a good guy? You got no character. You got no moral ground. You're just going to let that kid get beat up because you're afraid of Triple H? I can't cheer for you. You're not a fucking babyface to me. You're just a bitch standing on the stage looking, yeah. So,
I can't.
Like I said, I can't buy into Miz or Ziggler anyway, but like, and I think it's fine to show like a division of line of guys who should do something, who shouldn't. Like, I'm not saying like Santino, even though I think he's out hurt anyway, but I'm saying like a guy of that caliber, it's fine if he's like, I don't want to cross the boss, but like, Cena's gone. Brian's your only fucking babyface then. Who the fuck else is a baby? I can't cheer for anybody else on that stage. Sheamus is gone too. I can't cheer for any of those dudes because they're all pussies. None of them have any character. And I don't mean that in the sense of they're displaying a gimmick. I mean, like, they don't have any character. They don't have anything they believe in. Like, you're just going to stand there and let that kid get beat down. Like, be a fucking man. Come on. Be a man, Hogan. Be a man, Hogan. And the fucking crowd was like, Big Show, you bitch. What are you doing? Big Show, the whole fuck. And he's just like,
make a mad face.
Yeah, come on, man. I can't cheer for you.
If only he didn't say I can't cross this line.
He's hooking up on the stage, but not really doing nothing about it.
Yeah, I mean, he was clenching his fist and shit the whole time. But I was like, man, how am I going to cheer for any of those guys? How can I take any of those guys seriously as baby faces?
They didn't want to get fired.
Fucking stand up for something, man.
Be a star. Don't be a bully.
I mean, it's not even about that. It's about having a little character.
Yeah.
Having a little fortitude.
Yeah. Not to mention Big Show just signed a 5-year contract. So he wants to stick around for a while.
It's ironclad, man. Come on.
Well, that was his old contract with John Laurinaitis.
Well, that's the problem. Like, see, like, it lessens the effect of Brian like scraping and biting and clawing to get where he is if someone comes and helps him.
Yeah.
So don't fucking put everybody on the stage.
Right.
Because that creates the problem of you either lessen the impact of what you're doing with Brian, or you make these guys look like bitches and I can't cheer
what
for
he
you.
should have said
Just don't
is-
fucking put them out
Yeah,
there.
instead of saying if they cross this line, they're fired, say if I see anyone out there, they're fired.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to worry
Don't bring
about
the
it.
whole
You're,
roster
so
out.
yeah, you're basically like, yeah, if no one comes out, it's out of sight, out of mind. But basically, you put all your baby faces, what you have left of baby faces, up against the line that you said if you cross this line, you're a bitch, and like no, you made them all toe the line, but nobody can fucking jump across. So you basically like, go to the bitch line, and if you don't cross it, you're a bitch. Just let them not come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's stupid.
Or have one like, say that the line is where the mat is on the outside mat, where they can walk up, and you see, one or two guys like walking down and then they stop and they're kind of looking at it and they see him get beat down and then they're like, pace or something, go back and forth, have a moral dilemma.
Yeah,
It's like,
just a moral fiber, dude.
don't
Come
just
on.
stand there and be like, well, okay. I mean, I want to help, but
Well, I mean, I don't think anyone should help simply for the fact that it lessens what they're trying to do with Brian.
Yeah.
But you can't parade everyone else out there to look like bitches. Then,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
at least have them like pace back and forth, like this is mentally racking them or something.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, man.
it's
whack.
That's how they closed out the show. So anyway, it's not too bad, but now it's time for something that you all enjoy.
You're listening to a special interview segment for the official podcast for WrestlingNewsSource.com.
All right, folks, joining us on the show this week, he's going to be appearing at Clutch City Productions Super Show this Saturday out of the Pasadena Convention Center. It's going to be a huge show. Got Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, X-Pac, our past guest Tito Santana, and Greg the Hammer Valentine, as well as many others. The one and only Brutus, the Barber Beefcake. Mr. Beefcake, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on, brother.
Oh, we certainly appreciate you coming on, getting ready to go on to the Clutch City Productions Super Show at 7902 Fairmont Parkway in Pasadena. They recently added Buff Bagwell, so it's going to be just a huge sort of NWO reunion. They're going to be offering a very limited photo op with 6 members of the NWO, only 25 of those available, so you got to cash in on that. You as well as Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, X-Pac, Scott Norton, Buff Bagwell. It's really pumped. Are you getting excited to go to this show?
Well, absolutely, brother. It's really probably the first NWO really reunion I've done in a long, long time. It's so I'm actually trying to scrounge up some good NWO gear to wear. I mean, obviously, I don't have the long blonde hair locks anymore. It's hard. You can't just grow those back in 4 weeks, but
yeah.
But we'll do what we can to make it all good. And it's the fans get 2 characters in one. They get the Disciple and they get Brutus Beefcake. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely. And you were recently at Comic-Con this past year. Do you have a lot of fun going to these conventions, meeting your fans and stuff?
Oh, absolutely, brother. I do a lot of Comic-Cons. I'm trying to, get rescheduled for the New York Comic-Con again. I did it last year with me, Tito, and Greg, and we do quite a few around the country, all over the country, and they're a lot of fun. You get to meet tons and tons of fans. There's thousands of people there, and and the folks get to bring out their memorabilia, their books, their toys, their action figures, and get them signed. It's a great opportunity for people, and we enjoy it.
Very cool. And that does bring me to my next question. What's one of the weirdest things you've been asked to autograph, or one of the strangest person, the strangest person you've encountered?
Shoot, brother, that's a tough one. I mean, I just I autograph action figures and towels and shirts and pictures and a lot of things. Nothing really that weird. It's just all good. The fans are great, and then they come out and they bring whatever they got. And we're glad to sign it.
Very cool. And you did mention you do several of these conventions with Tito and Greg. Do you keep up with any other guys that you used to work with?
Well, I just saw Brett Goldberg, Neidhart, Jim Neidhart, Coco Beware, the Nasty Boys, and Greg just a couple days ago. I see Honky Tonk Man all the time. Duggan. Let's see, who else? Tony Atlas. Piper on occasions. You know, I really get to see quite a few of the guys.
Oh, very cool. So it's sort of like y'all, you know, you never left the wrestling business. Very, very cool. But yeah,
I never have, brother. I've still been wrestling all this time. I've never quit wrestling. I just work the independent circuits and do the the convention circuits.
Very cool. And you actually, when you first entered the wrestling business, you teamed up with what would become Hulk Hogan. You know, y'all were brothers. Then later y'all formed the Mega Maniacs. And you know, not everybody knows, but you two are actually best friends in real life.
That's absolutely true. You know, we grew up in the same neighborhood, we're from the same town, went to the same high school, worked out together, broke into business together, trained together. We're brothers and a tag team for the first 3 or 4 years in the business, and then tagged up later for many pay-per-views, and then the last thing we really tagged up for was WrestleMania 9. You know, a huge WrestleMania.
Very nice. You mentioned that y'all, grew up together, worked out together. You know, what was it that got you interested in wrestling? What was that thing where you were like, we could probably make a good amount of money doing this?
Never was a money thing for me, man. I was a fan. My older sister, used to take me to the wrestling matches in Tampa. Hulk was a fan. He used to be down at ringside. I was up in the pavilion, just a kid sitting up along the railing watching. Occasionally we went to the TV tapings down down on Tampa Street or wherever it was, in the little teeny building there, and we occasionally got to meet a wrestler or something. And back then, Greg Valentine's father, Johnny Valentine, was one of the top guys, the great Malenko and Eddie Graham and guys like that, and then Dusty Rhodes, the Briscoes, Harley Race, and those guys were running wild and back in those days. And it was nothing. I never thought I'd be a wrestler. It was nothing I even had any clue about doing. But when I ran into Hulk, he was playing music and running around and just out of high school and doing stuff, and I got into weightlifting, and he kind of recruited me because none of his friends wanted to take a chance and get in the wrestling business, and I was a young guy and just nothing to lose, and I was in junior college. College didn't seem like was going anywhere, and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna take a chance and jump on this train and run off with Hulk and try something crazy. Our parents all thought we were crazy, and everybody thought we were crazy, and who knew that we were going to become two of the greatest, most popular wrestlers in the history of wrestling. Absolutely. 2 young kids out of Tampa, Florida.
Very cool stuff. It's
history. Fate has a crazy way of making things happen, brother.
And it's one of those crazy things. Like, you do what you love and you grow from it. And then, your high school reunion comes around and people are like, oh, what do you do? Oh, well, I work in the refineries, or, you're like, no, I travel around the world and wrestle in front of thousands of people. So, no big deal.
You might know my best friend.
Thousands, brother. You know what? This may sound a little arrogant, but I've probably wrestled in front of 1 billion people, live audiences. Wow. I've been doing this 37 years. We don't have an off season. Mm-hmm. I've wrestled for crowds as big as 100,000 at one time. Mm-hmm. So if live audiences, do the math. Billion doesn't. For TV and the pay-per-views I've done, it's billions. Yeah. Billions and billions of people. But literally for live audiences, and, you're talking about 50, 60,000, 72,000 in Toronto, 100,000 in Detroit, 60,000 in Caps Arena, and 50,000 here, and 70,000 in London, and 80,000 over and over all these years. 30,000 a night, 25, 30,000 a night, in arenas all over the country, every single night, 30,000, year after year, 10 years nonstop, 10 years. Brother, that's a lot of people. You know, the Rolling Stones and all these people, Aerosmith, and they take years and years and years off in between their tours. We don't take time off. We wrestle all the time, night after night, day after day. We keep going and going and going like the ever-ready bunny.
Yeah, it's a continuous thing unless you're injured, and you were actually injured in a parasailing accident and had to have plates put in you and just all kind of craziness. But you came back because it's the love of the sport.
Well, it wasn't the love of sport; it was the love of God. God blessed me and saw to spare my life, brother, because I should not be alive. I sustained injuries no human being has ever survived. And that's a fact, medical fact. I was an experiment. These guys took and brought in doctors and from all over the place, and they brought in, titanium and screws from NASA, and they put these things in my head, and they rebuilt me like the $1 million man. It would literally cost $1 million to rebuild me and put me back together. And they thought, and nobody ever thought I would even survive it, much less be able to come back from it and recover. And I was able to, only by the grace of God itself. And that it's a sign. It was all meant to be. It was not my time to go.
Absolutely, and it's a good thing that it wasn't, because you still had left work left to do in the business.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned wrestling all over the world in front of thousands upon thousands of wrestling fans. We talked to Tito. We also talked to Greg about wrestling around the world, and they both say the Madison Square Garden was the arena. Can you take us through your experiences, your first time going through Madison Square Garden as compared to other arenas?
Well, I don't, but the first real big show was WrestleMania 1. Bruno Sammartino's son. I mean, that was that was the first really, really, really big show. It was sold out. The Felt Forum below with 10,000 people sold out. Pay-per-view around the world sold out. Everything sold out. I mean, Madison Square Garden's, it's the Mecca, okay? People all over the world, musicians, the bands, people who perform, come from all over this planet, and to perform at Madison Square Gardens is a great honor. It's a big privilege, and everybody who's ever performed there is something that you take with you and that you never forget. And the people who witness it, they never forget. And I've had the privilege of performing there 50 times. so you do the math, man. You figure it out. I mean, what kind of, it's unbelievable.
It's very cool, just to have those kind of experiences. And you actually, as you left the WWF at the time, you went to WCW and you came in as the disciple. No one recognized you. You did, a complete personality change. You changed your look, just everything. What was your experience like in your time in WCW?
Well, I mean, Disciple wasn't the first character. The problem was that the WWF illegally trademarked my name when I was there. And so when I left the territory, I wasn't able to go to WCW and use Brutus Beefcake. I was in legal battles for many, many years over those issues, and because of that, I was called the Booty Man. I was in the Dungeon of Doom as the Zodiac. I was called the Butcher. I did several other, some characters, and then it got to the point where some of the people at WCW thought, they said, we've done all these things with Brutus. We really can't repackage him again, and Hulk and I looked at each other and said, and they were complaining at the time, like, we need more talent. We need talent. And Hulk says, so what are you talking about? You got Brutus here. He's one of the best wrestlers, one of the top guys in the wrestling business ever. What do you mean you don't have talent? Oh, well, we can't repackage him. We said, well, you know what? Let's just see about that. And we just dropped out. I just dropped out of sight for about 8 months and boom, and then came back, and I dropped 45 pounds, grew my hair out, grew a beard, changed my entire look, got all the stuff, and then walked in, and the office people, nobody even had a clue that that was me. And we said, is this good enough for you guys? Okay, you can't repackage me? I guess you're a little bit wrong about that, okay? So let's move on here, and let's do business. And that's what we did.
Very
It's
nice.
just a shame they wouldn't let me wrestle very much. And I only had limited participation. I got to hang out and do some stuff here and there, but they really didn't, because of the powers that be, I don't even go into that. There was some favoritism being showed to certain people. And so I didn't get the opportunities I really should have got. But, I'm just happy that I was able to be there and able to continue my career. And then eventually, Brutus Beefcake came back. And now that's my main character and everything. And if anything ever happens again on TV, it'll definitely be Brutus Beefcake.
Very nice. And we do have some listener questions for you. One person asked, did you ever feel buried by the egos of other wrestlers in the WWF? Even though you were one of their all-time favorites, it seemed, tough to be able to stand up next to the hugeness of Hulkster and the names of Honky Tonk Man, Ted DiBiase, etc.
No, I didn't have a problem at all, brother. I had a run of wrestling against Hulkster in arenas all over this country, night after night, sold out in advance. Then I had pay-per-view matches as Hulk Hogan's partner and pay-per-views and multiple pay-per-views and sold-out events and huge pay-per-views all over this country. As far as selling out arenas and putting asses in seats, my record is probably right up there, as good as or better, as good as Macho Man's or any of the top of the top guys ever in this business. And so I have nothing whatsoever to be ashamed of, and nothing to even doubt about my abilities and my as far as drawing money in this business and putting asses in seats and in pay-per-views and on TV and live events, against anybody, anywhere, anytime. And to this day, we're still doing the same thing.
Very cool stuff. Another listener question: do you have any desire to be in the WWE Hall of Fame? And also, if so, who would you want to induct you?
Definitely, it wouldn't be bad to be in the Hall of Fame. There's been a lot of talk and speculation in the last year or two, and then I know this year there's even a lot more interest. If Hulkster or Greg Valentine or one of those guys were to induct me, it'd be a great honor.
Very cool. Also, who was your favorite opponent, and what match would you like to be against them in?
Well, Hulk was a great guy to wrestle. There's no doubt, no question about that. Mr. Perfect was probably one of my favorite opponents. We had incredibly, crazily good matches anywhere and everywhere we ever wrestled. People had real hard problems ever following our matches, and it would have been great to had I not had a nearly life-ending accident and had Perfect not died, a second rematch with me and Perfect in WrestleMania. Obviously I won the first bout when I beat Perfect and ended his perfect record in the Toronto Dome, 72,000. A rematch of that match would have been great.
Very nice. And final question for you: any crazy road stories?
Crazy roads. There's a million of those. Shoot, I think one of the funniest ones I can think of is the Andre the Giant story. And I don't know if you guys ever heard this one, but I used to go to Japan a lot years before I even started really with WWF. And I wrestled for the Inoki group, which was the WWF group. The Barber group was more the other group, the NWA group. and Andre went over for our group. We were on a 747 coming home from Japan, and obviously, 600 pounds didn't fit in the bathroom. And, fortunately he usually timed everything. So, if he needed to use the facilities, he would go before he had to get on the plane. The trip was, you're talking about 18, 20-hour trips, on a plane. And, unfortunately, he had to take a dump on the plane, and he just couldn't get in the bathroom, so they strung a garbage bag in the galley in the back of the plane across, in the galley from one side to the other. He strung a big garbage bag, and he had to shit in the garbage bag. And I'm telling you, the smell. I mean, this guy's 600 pounds. I mean, he takes a dump like a thoroughbred horse. I mean, the thing is huge, and then the smell from it that came out of the back of the plane was insane. And there was people just gagging and choking and puking and all the wrestlers. There was quite a few of us on the plane. We were all freaking laughing and just laughing our asses off, just tried out of control. It was just the craziest, funniest thing. The poor stewardesses all ran to the front of the plane, and they were trying to hide, and and it was just, I mean, it was crazy because the people were just literally gagging and choking, and there was a couple of people that threw up and everything, and then the flight attendants had to go in the back and take this big bag of shit and tie it all up and deal with it, And I mean, it was just, we just laughed for hours and hours and hours. And that was probably the most funniest, craziest thing I'd ever seen.
Wow.
As far as on the road.
Had to drop the oxygen mask for the passengers, huh?
Almost. I mean, the whole back of the plane the stench was unbelievable. They had some spray, and the stewardess was walking around trying to spray and
use the whole can up, huh?
and kill the smell. But I mean, it was unkillable.
Wow. Well, it's definitely an interesting tale. Not sure how I feel about that one, but Brutus the Barber Beefcake, it's certainly been a pleasure having you on. You're going to be once again out at the Clutch City Productions Super Show this Saturday out at the Pasadena Convention Center, along with Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, X-Pac, and many, many more. So basically just call it an NWO reunion out at 7902 Fairmont Parkway in Pasadena. Go to clutchcityproductions.com for more information on that. Do you have any social media sites that people can find you on?
I have, my Facebook is actually under my real name, Edward H. Leslie. We'll have to post. I'm sure we've got something posted, but that's probably the extent of my social media stuff. I do some Twitter and this and that occasionally. Been just pretty busy lately, but people can if they look, they can find me.
Awesome. We certainly do appreciate it. And, have fun. Hope to see you out there at the Clutch City Productions Super Show. And once again, thanks for coming on.
Oh, you're welcome, brother. We'll be there.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. You bet.
Bye.
And now, Total Divas with Doug and Tyler. Mostly Doug.
No wonder people call you fat on Twitter.
Shut up! I have to say, I feel like a real diva.
You are a grown-ass woman.
Hey, what's up?
What'd it do?
What did it do? You pointed at me.
Yes.
Total Divas.
Oh, Total Divas. Doug and Ryan. Ryan, did you watch this week?
Oh yeah, I'm a fan.
All
of
right.
it.
All right.
My future wife. I hope she leave John Uso, Trendy.
Trinity's cool. Trinity comes off most of the time. Trinity comes out like the most sane girl on that show.
Yeah.
But yeah. So let's hop into it. Surprise, surprise. There's about 3 storylines, just like every week.
What?
It's a formula. It works. Trust me, it works. So let's start with the Funkadactyls because we're talking about Ryan's future wife, Trinity.
That's right.
John, dude, you're a cool dude, John, but Ryan's my boy, so look out.
Yeah, I like the Usos, but when it comes down to it, my baby.
But the Funkadactyls always come off like the coolest people on the show, like the sanest people, because they're always like, they get in little arguments, but they always seem like they have each other's back, and they never seem like the Bellas seem like they get like way like seriously too catty with each other, and the Funkadactyls always seem like they're just kind of like play fighting, but then like they're really like really cool, like they have each other's back. Yeah. So it's a little disturbing to see them kind of to fight for real this episode. I don't know. We see some stuff about like Ariane taking Trinity out to like boutique openings and stuff like that. Yeah. And, you know, they kind of emphasize that she's like the more like glamorous diva and Trinity's like the more down to earth one. And,
in case you couldn't tell by now.
Yeah. Don't hate, man. It's a good show. But, anyway, so they end up at a
go-kart.
Go-kart. Thank you, Ryan. Track a little later in the day. Or a separate day. I don't know. All the divas are there. And they're going to race. And Ariane is like super competitive, which I can identify with because I'm super competitive. So I understand, like, even though no one else cares about it, like, you know, I can understand. She did take it a little bit too far. I probably take it a little bit too far whenever I'm being competitive.
See, I would have been Trinity. I would have been like, what the fuck what are you showing off, man? I know you won, but just calm the fuck down.
Yeah. Okay. So Ariane does win. Yeah. And she's kind of like, no, bitches, say I won. Like, act like I'm the best or whatever. And they're like, calm down. It's a fucking go-kart race. Yeah. And she's like, no, bitch, say I'm the best. And they're like, no, fuck you. That's dumb. What are you doing? And then so like they kind of start arguing, and then like Trinity's like, okay, yeah, you won because like I always win in the ring. And she was like, bitch, what? Like you always win in the ring?
No, she didn't.
She's like, yeah, just like I always talk on the mic. So she's putting over her mic skills. Trinity's talking about how she's like better in the ring. And so they get like a little shoving match back and forth, and they kind of break it up. And like later in the day, we're at TV, and they're kind of like not wanting to have a match. And they hilariously, like they act as if they have some kind of like say in if they team together or if they go singles or if they have a match. They don't want to work. They don't want to work together. So they kind of, does Stephanie talk to him first before she does? Because she splits them up.
Yeah. Well, put y'all both in, separate single matches tonight. And
yeah. So she's like, that's unprofessional. You can't do like that in fucking public. You make us look bad. Kind of like the Eva Marie thing, but for the Funkadactyls.
Right, yeah.
And so they split them up. They want to go singles. They don't want to team anymore. So they both have separate matches that they both kind of fuck up in their own ways. And at the end, they were just kind of like, yo, it was hard watching you fucking up so bad. Yeah. And they're like, let's we want a team. And it's cool. I'm glad to see them back together because, I don't know, because they're the ones that don't fight. I feel like they're the most like real, like, people who are actually friends, I feel like, on the show. Like, everyone else seems kind of fake towards each other, and they seem like they really, like, are friends.
Well, so from day one, they got in there, they was, like, pretty much, not teamed up together, but they learned together, side by side. Even though I think Trina said she was there 2 years before her, but, like, they got along real well together, that's why they paired them up to be, I guess, the Funkadactyls or whatever.
Yep. And, let's see. So, Natty and, I guess, TJ's story is, kind of like TJ's like they're going to Calgary because it's Natty's birthday. Well, not because it's Natty's birthday. They happen to be in Canada on her birthday, so they're trying to make plans. And TJ's mom wants them to stay at her house, which Natty doesn't want to stay at because it's like a small 1-bedroom apartment. But they're going to book a hotel. But TJ's like, no, we can stay with my mom because he's kind of like a mama's boy. And she's like, fuck you for being a stupid mama's boy. You can't tell your mom no. What the fuck is wrong with you? Don't be a bitch. And
be a man.
Yeah, so he's like, okay, no, we're going to get the hotel. So when they go, they're on the trip. They get there. They're in the hotel. TJ like goes back on his word. He's going to go stay with his mom because his mom calls. It's a whole thing. Natty's pissed off.
He come off like a little dick on it, like he just a bitch, man. Like, especially with his, like, I know it says his mom, because I ain't gonna lie, I live with my mom, and like people call me a mama's boy, but it's like he was really like she was really like this.
He took it to the extreme.
Yeah, it's like, come on, dude, this your fucking girl. Like, it's her birthday. You want to go spend time with your mom. I mean, even though I'm sure that wrestlers, they be on the road so much a year, you know what I'm saying? But this is your girl birthday, and y'all can be here at least for a couple of days.
Well, if he's been injured the last few months or close to a year now.
Yeah. So. It's like, take her out for her birthday. You can always see your mom, for that one day. That's all she asked for. But it's like, Mama boy really just, pretty much just set them up, just to go spend a day with them the whole time for her birthday, and she just wasn't having that shit.
No, she was like, "Fuck that! I'm not doing that." Because they had like lunch like the day before or earlier in the day with his mom and his sister, and they were like all ganging up on her.
I want to be a sister ass so bad. I don't
she
beat
was
women,
like,
but
bitch,
yeah, it's like,
was
what
like,
the fuck is wrong with you? I swear I want Natty's to get up and like clothesline the shit out of her ass.
yeah, they're. And TJ was just kind of like, yeah, I agree with you guys, whatever.
Yeah.
And she was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Be a man, Hogan. And
If you haven't caught the theme of this show,
R.I.P. Macho. Yeah, so like earlier in the day, or another day, it's kind of weird to see how they kind of chop it up. I'm not sure exactly. She went to tan at her old friend's house, one of the guys who trained her. So because TJ kind of flaked on her birthday, he takes her out to dinner on her birthday to a really expensive like restaurant that he reserved the whole restaurant for, and they get steak and they get wine. He's like, yo, I'm not gonna lie, I gotta tell you that, I got a thing for you because I may never get a chance again. And she's just kind of like, oh,
blushing, laughing,
yeah,
that uncomfortable look, like,
yeah. She's like, which look, okay, I get that, like, you want to go out on your birthday, and I get that TJ fucked up because he picked his mom over you on your birthday. But you can't be like, oh, the dude took me out for dinner on my birthday and he reserved the restaurant and not know the dude's got a thing for you.
Yeah.
That's kind of a little fucked up too. I'm not saying TJ was right. I'm just saying like two wrongs don't make it right.
Right.
Am I right?
Right.
But anyway, so she's kind of like, we're friends, but it ain't like that, buddy. And he's like,
had to try, man.
Yeah, had to try.
YOLO. I'm sorry, I hate that term. I know, I hate it too.
It's not on him though. I mean, he should have. He took a shot. He should have.
Yeah, I mean, everybody say if you got somebody you like, man, never know till you try.
There you go.
Trendy, I'm coming after you.
Look out, John. Yeah. So the other thing is the Bellas. They're kind of, I wouldn't say estranged from their dad, but they have a rocky relationship with their dad. History of substance abuse problems, I guess. They show the Bella's brother. They're just kind of like, they're going to go see him because they have like a week off or a weekend off, or they have something off and they're going to be in the area.
Yeah, at the Nana's house.
Nana's house. You're right. What was she saying? Like they went to visit the Nana, and the Nana was kind of like, she said like they were talking about something. She was like, say thank you, Nana, or whatever. Like it was like totally weird.
Saying like Bree was telling like how Brian like the compost. I think whatever they
compost toilet. What the hell
like
is
the
that?
compost, like whatever they use from the compost from the toilet, they mix like within their garden, like vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I guess the shit and poo, they mix in with their green
For fertilizer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like I guess basically it's like, yeah, don't do that. Tell Nana don't do that. You'll thank me later or something like that. He's like, yeah, thank you, Nana.
Oh, okay,
Like,
okay,
yeah.
I understand now. Thanks for explaining it to me because I was like, what the fuck is she saying? Like, say thank you, Nana. But yeah, so they like the Nana a lot because they feel like the Nana and her husband, I guess, which would be their grandpa, was like their father figure in their life, and they had a lot of respect for him. It's kind of like raised them because of all the family problems that they had. So I guess they're setting up like Bree is like, I guess Bree and the brother talk to the dad kind of, but Nikki's kind of like, no, I don't really talk to him, and I don't really want to talk to him.
Yeah,
she
didn't
seemed
want to
really
give him a hug.
yeah. But like the fucked up thing about it is like they arrange a meeting, and Nikki acts, she like says like she's the one who set it up. She's like, I'm okay, I'm gonna try whatever. But then like as soon as they get there, she's like, I'm not having this.
I don't
which is
want to
like
be here.
weird.
I feel like I've been dragged here. It's like, no, you're the one who set it up.
Right?
You don't
Yeah.
want to go through this.
It was totally weird. Like I guess I can get like getting cold feet or like feeling apprehensive once you get there. So it's a little weird, but it just came off weird because it was, I guess the way they edited it was like, I set this up, but like, I'm not going to be here. It's like back to back. And it was weird, but I guess they kind of like, they talked it out a bit and they're at least on okay grounds with each other. Yeah, so they got through it. But yeah, hate to see the Funkadactyls fight. Because honestly, genuinely, they seem like actual friends. And I think it's cool because you can kind of tell. It's like you could tell the Bellas are sisters, obviously, because they're sisters, but they're kind of like dicks to each other all the time, even though they're supposed to be
like
close.
a twin sister thing, It's like
yeah.
we look alike, we almost talk alike, so like we gotta give each other heat.
Yeah, but the Funkadactyls always seem like good friends, and so I had to see them fight. We didn't see much of JoJo.
Her and Eva Marie. Is it Eva Marie?
Yes.
Yeah, they was at the go-kart place where they kind of seen everything, but they ain't have, like, too big of
They
a-
lost Ariana,
Yeah.
and they did not tell her that she's number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they had any storyline plots.
I don't know what they're planning with this JoJo girl because like
Yeah.
they had
Me
her
and
as
Ryan were
guest
talk-
ring announcer and
Me and Ryan were talking about this at
Wings
for the
Fit.
pay per view.
Yeah.
Wings Fit. We're like, kind of feels like they kind of want to do like a Jillian thing with her. Like
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
they want to have her sing and announce and stuff.
'Cause she
Maybe.
don't look like a wrestler. Like she just don't. I mean,
No.
look, she just really tiny. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not because AJ small, but like she's really like just a small
Yeah.
woman. You know, I don't see her just doing some moves. I think like a couple of weeks ago she got like a concussion. You know, so I really see her, like doing announcing and like backstage stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe
They've
one day
had her-
ballet or something.
Yeah, they've had her even just like not only just like national anthem stuff. I think they've had her just go out and sing with the Tons of Funk just to do it. I think right. Seems like they've used her in that role a few times,
Yeah.
so maybe that's where they're kind of nudging her. I don't know.
Which she's good at. She was a good singer. I thought she
Yeah,
did a
yeah,
good job singing the national anthem.
and
Yeah, she
was
did good.
guest ring announcer this week as well. So there you go. And we do have some hot topics for you this week. Apparently, Ted DiBiase Jr. has left the WWE. So a lot of saw a lot of comments regarding the topic. Some people were saying, "Oh, he's still with the company," and just all kind of stuff because he hasn't been on TV very much. Since his injury like last year, it kind of just took him out of the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the video and he went out classy. I mean, I don't know if it kind of seemed like he didn't want to step on no toes,
Yeah,
but I mean, I guess that's respectable
because you always want to be open for a return.
for a comeback.
Did they
Don't
say
call it a comeback.
Did they
Been
say
here for
why he was
years.
leaving or?
He just said he wanted to like focus on being a dad and like he had other dreams that he's done the movie, he's performed in front of crowds, whatever.
Yeah.
He's like got other dreams that he wants to try and hit while he can, and he's not saying it's bye forever, but he wants to be there for his family and try some new shit.
I
Well,
guess he'll
good.
come back one
Yeah.
day.
So we'll have to see. So hope everything turns out for him pretty good. The news broke recently. Apparently, WWE officials are reportedly interested in international wrestling star Prince Devitt. He's currently over in New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's just a report.
Double
that's
stomping
coming
people's
through.
nuts.
Oh,
Ugh.
This thing now.
that doesn't sound pleasant at all. So,
Bullet Club.
so Doug, what would be your thoughts of seeing this guy in the WWE?
He's how a lot of people like said about Generico, they're like, I don't see it. Not as much of a body thing because Generico was like athletic, but like a thin athletic dude, he's a small dude, but he's not like as thin athletic as Generico is. He's short, but more so the style, like people said about Generico, like they're not gonna let him like do that shit, or whatever. I think the things that make him special, or the things that stand out about him, are stuff he's not going to be doing in the fight.
Yeah.
He's good. He's good, and I'm not saying it won't work, but I'll be like, I'm looking to see how they make it work, just like how they made Generico work. Like it was kind of like a pleasant surprise that like Generico's working for the best, even though it felt like he had a lot of strikes against him, body style, stuff like that. They just made it work, and so, I mean, I guess the tide's kind of changing. We're kind of seeing a sea change with the guys that they're willing to take.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like as big of a shock as it like was, say, when we saw Generico got signed up. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with him, what they'll let him do, what they won't let him do.
If they sign him at all.
If
Yeah, got to throw that out there. And I don't know if you guys got to see the, since you were on the topic of El Generico, the Sami Zayn versus Antonio Cesaro, 2 out of 3 falls that happened on NXT.
I did.
That was very good matchup. If you haven't seen it, definitely go on our Facebook page and check it out because that is a match to behold.
See, I thought it was really good, and I don't want to like come off like I'm shitting on it, but I think they had problems with the match, and I think the reason it was like mob mentality. Don't get me, Generico. I got a lot of respect for Generico. Generico is awesome. You listen to the past 6 months of this podcast, I've been praising before Brian got out of the tag stuff that was holding him back in the ring. I've said Cesaro is the best in-ring guy in the Fed for like the past fucking 6 months. I've been saying it. Got a lot of respect for Generico. Generico's great. I'm not shitting on these dudes. It was a good match, but I just feel like it's mob mentality. Like everybody's passing around. You got to watch this. You got to watch this. This is the best match I've seen in forever. It's like, I thought it was really good, but like I had problems with the match. I think the second fall, I think the structure and the pacing from the second fall on, which was the submission from the sleeper, was weird. The way he submitted and then how quick he came back to his the finish was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like where he just had him and he just like ragdolls him up for the finish was fucking awesome. But I think there were some problems with the match, pacing mostly and structure mostly. The guys are great. I just feel like a lot of people saw it and they're like, oh, they did some high spots and like, so that was cool. So it was an excellent match. And I was like, it was a really good match. And I can't stress that I don't think it's bad and I'm not shitting on these dudes, but I just think it's mob mentality. I think these guys, people know these are internet dudes, and then people are like, I think it's cool. I think it's cool that people think it's cool, and I want to come off as cool, so I'm going to pass this shit around. I just like, I think this really ties into my whole thing last week of me saying like how I'm kind of annoyed with the fans and people, how they're expressing their fandom these days, because I was like, I just feel like I can sit there and say what I thought was wrong with the match, but people are just like, oh, this is the best shit ever. I was like, I don't see how it's the best shit ever. I was like, I think people just like blindly go with whatever they think is the popular consensus because like, I use this I always bring this up as an example because I think it's one of the most unique matches that we've seen in years, and it's by a guy who's hated by a lot of people. So I'll bring up the Lesnar-Cena match, which I thought was fucking phenomenal. It was extremely unique, not just for the Fed, but for North America, which they kind of like, they toy with shoot style stuff in Japan, and then they do flat out shoot style stuff in Japan. But this was really unique for North America. It was not only unique, but they like blended it like shoot style with the big pro style. And it was just so fucking awesome. And I just remember being like, after seeing that match, just walking out of Wings to Go with you guys and being like, that was the best match I've seen in I don't know how fucking long. This just silenced everyone who was ever a critic of Cena. And I'd just be like, posting on Facebook, you know what you guys think? And people were just like shitting on it. And I was like,
Cena wins again.
Well, we all said like we go buy a Cena shirt after that. It was like,
we did. We didn't buy Cena shirts, but we should have. But like, I just think it's mob mentality. Like people are like, well, no matter how good that Cena Lesnar match was, people were going to shit on it because it's Cena.
Yeah.
No matter how good or bad that Cesaro Zayn match could have been, people were going to praise it because it was those guys. And don't get me wrong, it was a good match.
Yeah.
But it's not the best match I've seen in a long time. I had plenty of problems with it. I don't want to say plenty. I had problems with it, but it was a good match. But I just kind of nauseous, like how people are like, just if you really like it, then fucking say you like it. If you think it sucks, just say it sucks. I mean, like, I think shit sucks all the time that people love. I mean, like, I just don't get this like mob mentality thing. It's like,
it's just people take so much offense when they disagree with what you think. And it's just like, dude.
And they go on a rant about some bullshit that don't make no sense, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't like, it's pro wrestling, people. Like, you're not going to get laid for saying you like a match. Dudes, you're not getting laid. Chicks, you're not getting laid. Just like what you like and think for yourself. I don't know.
Some of those fans are spoiled. You know, they just really, they just so used to that one thing, you know, just I guess, I don't know if the Attitude Era like spoiled people to where, you know, just being shocked and just, you know, oh, I can't believe they did that, you know, why does this still not happen? Like, well, you only can do certain things once, you know what I'm saying? Like, why you want to keep on over playing, you know, a certain whatever out, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, you just don't want to keep on doing it over and over, you know? And
they have some variety in there.
Yeah. And it's like they want something new, but they still want something old. It's like, I don't get it. You want a new champion, but you still want to do like this old storyline or
like whenever they say, oh, bring back the Attitude Era, and then they'll do something that has blood or cursing, and they're like, oh, what are you doing? You can't say that. You can't do that.
I guess they're not going PG anymore or going G or whatever it is. You know,
like, it's the end of the PG era. It's like you can still entertain in a PG era. It's just you don't have to have blood everywhere in every single match. It you know,
the whole canvas is full of blood. It's like, what the hell?
It's oversaturation.
It may just be me. I mean, it may just be me. It may just be me being an asshole. Like I kind of actively hate everything. Like I hate watching it Wings to Go because there's always people who annoy the shit out of me with the things they say. I hate going to live wrestling shows in the area because the people piss me off with the shit they say. I hate going on the internet because I see memes that piss me off with the shit they say. I just hate everybody, and it's probably just me. And I did watch the VMAs, so I feel like I'm caught up on pop culture for a little while. So I'll just go back in my little hole and fucking ignore everybody, and then everything will be okay. I don't know, but Yeah.
Well, we're glad that you can come out of your hole to, be on the show.
Yeah, I just don't want to be like bothered with all that bullshit.
Yeah. It's crazy. The world's changed.
Be a
too
man,
much.
Hogan.
Yeah.
Be a man, Hogan. There you go. And now it's time to go into the Q&A portion of the show. Your questions, our answers. First and only question coming to us from Primetime.
What's up, Primetime?
Saying, hey guys, I know it's been a while since I contributed to the show, but I haven't missed a single episode. You guys are doing an even better job now than ever.
Wow, what a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Thank you, Primetime. Appreciate that.
I wanted to know, what are your guys' favorite wrestling theme songs that are in the public domain, any era? Mine is Pomp and Circumstance, Macho Man's theme song.
That's a good one.
I mean, the only thing that I can be for certain of that's in public domain is Flair's.
Yeah.
I guess,
What
like,
about, Ride of the Valkyrie?
yeah, that's
For
public
Daniel
domain.
Bryan?
Yeah, I'll give it
Maybe
to
CM
that.
Punk. Would that be considered like
Public domain is kind of like nobody owns the rights to it.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Brian.
If that's the case, then Macho.
Just because I don't know too many that are for certain in the free domain.
Yeah.
I know like 5, so I'm going with Brian. If we had a list to pick from, which
Right.
maybe, or if we had time to like research it, maybe.
I think,
Because even like the real kitschy stuff like Jive Soul Bro or like Dusty, I'm sure they still own the rights to that shit. That's
Yeah.
not public domain. So it's like real specifics, like instrumental, like classic instrumental sounding stuff, And I don't know. Just
and those
off
are
my
like
head.
the top 3, Macho Man, Flair, and Daniel Bryan
Right.
that even come to mind. I'm sure there are others, but nothing's really.
I mean, we're speculating. I'm certain that they still own the rights to all that shit. Though.
Oh yeah, someone's getting royalties out of it. But yeah, so there you go. Thanks for the questions. Submit your questions. Head on over to our YouTube page, WNS Video, our Facebook page, WNS Podcast. You can also check us out on WrestlingNewsSource.com, WrestlingNewsSource.com on Facebook. And you subscribe to us on iTunes, please, and leave us a review by searching Wrestling News Source Podcast.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter at WNS Podcast for the main site, WN Source. All that shit that Daniel said. Rate, review, like, subscribe, all that good shit. And, be a man, Hogan.
And don't forget to check out Clutch City Productions if you're in the Houston area within driving distance, or do all that. Special thanks to Clutch City for hooking us up with all the interviews we've had over the past couple weeks, and good to get to talk to Brutus, the Barber Beefcake, all kinds of stuff.
Brutai.
Interesting story. So there you go. For more information on that, go to clutchcityproductions.com. Also, check out our good friend John, all his work at Nightmare Pro Wrestling.
Go check out his belt that Eric at Asteroid Belt Company made, because it's pretty fucking sweet.
It is pretty nice.
Yeah, so go get yourself a belt made, because it's awesome. Go buy some comics from John, because diapers are expensive and he is a new father.
Yeah.
I'm trying to avoid saying be a man, Hogan, one more time, but I'm just going to say it one more time. So,
Loud and proud.
Be a man, Hogan.
Well, there you go. For the podcast crew, I am Daniel Herron.
Ryan.
I'm sorry. I'm not used to going second. I'm Doug. Enjoy your burrito.
And we'll catch you all next week.